A very good morning to all my lovely students. You all have seen part 1 of chapter 4, My Point of View. Now let us begin with part 2 of same chapter 4, My Point of View. Now moving to activity 7. See, the following sentences use verbs that are passive voice, and there are many reasons for using passive voice. See, the voice we have learned active and passive voice in grammar. One reason we might use passive voice for a verb is that we want to make the person doing the action, what action they are doing of the verb, seem less important. See, let us discuss through example. Jitendra wrecked the car. See, wrecked me is an active voice, and the person who did wrecking is obvious. See, in the second one, the car was wrecked. See, was wrecked is a passive over here, and we do not know who wrecked the car. The car was wrecked. And above in the first sentence, Jitendra. So we know over there who did the wrecking over there. And in the second sentence, we do not know who wrecked the car. So that was it about active and passive voice. See, now decide if the sentence are active or passive. Write A for active and P for passive. Let us discuss all the sentence. A meeting for high level officials is scheduled later this month. See, in this, which type of it is sentence? It is a passive voice. Passive is scheduled. See, is a passive voice. Why? Because meeting is scheduled, and so it is important and not who scheduled it. Okay, got it? That was about that. Agencies have not been able to identify this luminous flying object. See, here have been is an active voice. See, agency have failed in identify the object is important. See, here the object is important. What the agency have failed. So, have been is an active voice over here. He was asked if these people have provided strong evidence. See, have provided is what is an is the active voice, and people have done the job of providing strong evidence. And was asked is what is a passive voice because he was instructed to do something. Fourth sentence. Hundreds of UFOs or alien aircrafts have been sighted inside the Indian territory. See, here passive is what have been sighted is a passive voice. Why? Because the person who have sighted is not important, but UFOs have sighted is important over here. Fifth sentence, it was believed that the extraterrestrials might be sending the UFOs. See, here might be sending is a active voice. Why? Because the job of sending is being done by whom? By extraterrestrial. And was believed is the passive voice. Next sentence, many sighting of unidentified objects were documented. See, here were documented is what is a passive voice. And who documented them is not important here. And the next sentence, many such incidents have been reported in the last year. See, have been reported is what is a passive voice. And who have reported, that is not important. But incident have been reported is important. Next sentence, the army flew a drone in the direction of a floating object. See, flew is an what is it? Is an active voice. Why? Because the deeds of flying is done by the army. The next sentence, the measurement were taken and sent to the IIAP. See, here were taken is what is a passive voice. Why? We took the measurement is not important, but measurement taken is important. Who took the measurement, that is not important, but measurement is taken, that is important. The next sentence, The radar could not detect these objects. See, could not is what is an active voice, and the radar has failed in detecting the object. But it is important point here. Next sentence, the signal could not be received. See, could not could received could not be. It is a passive voice in this. Is it is in passive voice? Why? Because who could not receive the signal is not important, but the signal could not be received is an important point. Now the last sentence, we are worried that there may be a problem. See here, are worried is in passive voice. See, sometimes here something, here some problems as caused worried for we. So we are not the doer of the action, but we, that means they are sufferers of the action. So hence it's a passive voice. So that was about active voice and passive voice. See, all these sentences use a verb that are in passive voice, and there are many reasons for using passive voice also. And what we use passive voice for a verb is that we want to make the person doing the action of that verb. That is seems less important. I hope you have understood this. Now moving towards activity 8. See, read this interview with Carl, Carl Sagan, a respected scientist, as he discusses his point of view on the subject of extraterrestrial life. As you read, underline any words that are new for you. After you read, ask your classmates, use a dictionary or your teacher for help with the words you don't know. Help everyone in your class to understand the reading. See, when I'll explaining only, I'll give meaning of that word. Few words. See, the interview asked by Dr. Sagan to give his view on the existence of intelligence extraterrestrials and many sighting and reports from people who say that they have seen these beings on earth. See, here is an interview of Dr. Carl Sagan, and the interviewer asked Dr. Sagan to give his views on existence of intelligent extraterrestrial and the many sighting and the reports from the people who says that they have seen extraterrestrials on Earth. Carl Sagan, I personally have been captured by the notion. Captured means what? Snapped or clicked for a photographer. And notion is the idea or belief sum of extraterrestrial life and especially extraterrestrial intelligence. From childhood, it swept me up, and I have been involved in sending spacecraft to nearby planet to look for life and in the radio search for extraterrestrial intelligence. See, Karl Marx admits that since his childhood he has been strongly fascinated by belief of intelligent extraterrestrials life, and he has been involved in sending spacecraft to nearby planets for the search. See, if we found intelligence life on the other planet, it would be an absolutely means what completely transformed in the human history. But the stakes means what? The popularity, etc. Or a situation is judged on how much of a particular it has. Are so high on whether it's true or false that we must demand the more rigorous means what? Strict standard of evidence. We have to be very careful. See, here it is said that he has been involved in sending spacecraft to nearby planets to search of life, in radio search of extraterrestrial intelligence. And if they found that, if they are found that Dr. Sagan takes it to be a wonderful prospect, and see it would be an absolute transforming event in human history. But to verify their existence, more rigorous standards of evidence to be implemented. I am frequently asked, how could I search for extraterrestrial intelligence and thus believe that we are being visited? I don't see any contradiction. Contradiction means what? Completely opposite views. Contradictions at all. The idea of being visited is a wonderful prospect but requires a more severe and rigorous standard of evidence. The interviewer asked Dr. Sagan to comment on the stories that people have told of being abducted. Abducted means what? Forced someone to do something with you, or it means often using threat or violence. Or kidnapped means a person taken away illegally by force. That means kidnapped. By extraterrestrial, he was asked if these people have provided strong evidence for extraterrestrials having visited Earth. Carl Sagan, the evidence it almost entirely an anecdote. Anecdote means what? A short or something funny story, especially about something that someone has done. Someone says something happened to them, and people can say anything. The fact that someone says something doesn't mean it's true. To be taken seriously, you need physical evidence that can be examined, but skeptical means what? Doubting that something is true or useful. Scientists, for example, scrapping. Scrapping means what? A small pieces. Here left as evidence. Scrapping of the whole ship and discovery that it contains elements that don't exist on Earth. See, the interviewer asked Dr. Sagan to comment on the stories that people have told of being abducted or kidnapped if the people have provided some strong evidence of their visions on Earth. But there is no scrapping of the other evidence. All there are stories, and there are instances of disturbed soil, but I can disturb soil with shovel means a tool consisting of a wide square metal or plastic blade. There are instances of people claiming to flash lights at UFOs and the UFOs flash back, but pilots of the airplanes can also flash back, especially if they think it would be a good joke to play UFOs and to test so that it does not constitute good evidence. See, Dr. Sagan, what did he say? That there are many strange stories from the people about them, but they cannot be taken as true, and to take it seriously, physical evidence is to be examined by spectacle scientists, and see no reliable evidence are found, and people says that if lights are flashed towards UFOs, they flash back, but even pilots of airplanes also could do that as a good joke to play. See, it was about article of said by Carl Sagan. See, here you can see somewhere something incredible is waiting to be known. See, does Dr. Sagan think that an anecdote is good evidence? See, what is asked here? Does this Dr. Sagan think that an anecdote is good evidence? No, Dr. Sagan does not think that an anecdote is a good evidence. Why? Because it requires truth, and it requires some physical evidence too. Be examined by some skeptical scientists, since some reliable evidence are not found, and anecdotes cannot be taken as true. List other see new words: contradiction, scrapping. You have to list all the other new words and let the meaning before you underline the words, and you see the meaning in the dictionary, or else you can take the help of your teacher also. See, in this, I have explained you while explaining the article, this summary when I was giving at that time only, I have given you the meaning of few new words. So, if you need other meanings, if you don't understand, you can ask me in the live session also. Now, moving towards ahead, activity 9. See, in this activity, you have explored many ideas. In activity 3, you have gave your own point of view about extraterrestrial life and listed the points of view of your classmates. See, in fifth and sixth activity, you summarized UFOs in Indian plains, our planets, and you looked carefully about the information. All the different sources were given in UFOs in India planes or planets, provided about the sighting in India. And see, finally, in activity 8, when we did, you read an interview with whom? With Carl Sagan, a respected scientist, about the kind of evidence that would be needed to show that extraterrestrial life exists. So remember that evidence is what is a fact that shows clearly that something exists or is true. The information that convinces something that is completely true. See, evidence is some one kind of information that we can use to help to explain why the things, what we think. See, why we think it as, and what we think, that is the evidence about the information that we can have it, which help us to explain. And when we give our opinion or idea, people often ask why we believe what we do. See, one way that we answer why is with information and facts from different sources. See, what do you think that this it comes? See, evidence is what information that we can use to help to explain why we think such, and what do we think. And when we give our opinions or ideas, people often ask why we believe it, what do we do, and on the way we answers why the information and the facts is different. It is the fact is all of all the different sources. Now, moving towards the activity 10. See, in the 9 activity, it was all about the evidence and the fact. And what do you think the Indian Army truly saw? See, the Indian Army, they spent 6 months watching airplanes or satellites, but in fact, they might have watched the rising and setting of each nights of the planet Jupiter and Venus. And see which information you learn from the sources. UFOs in India's planes or planets. Can you see as evidence that your idea is true? See, we get the informations about from the different sources in the newspaper reports of UFOs of India, planes or planets. See, different sources of different informations were given here for the sighting were UFOs. The Indian Army reported differently. The telegraphs reported. The military sources also said that objects seem to be regularly rises. Army Lance Naik Manmohan Singh also reported that it has been delayed 4 minutes in the appearance. See, all the Tushar Prabhu, astronomer from IIAP, also said that their task was to determine whether the object was celestial or terrestrial. See, all these were the opinions, information that we get from the source in UFOs, that article in India, UFOs in India, planes or planets. Now, moving towards the activity 10. See, in this activity 10, the universe is such a huge place that many people think there must be other life somewhere in it, just because it is so huge. See, universe is such a huge one and a huge place. And see what many people think that there might be a life somewhere. And why? Because it's so huge, that's why. See, universe is so huge that it must be measured in the light years. See, it is so huge that it should be measured in light years. And light is the fastest thing we know, and we know that light is very fastest thing we know, and it travels among it travels so much speed that 299 to 792,458 meters per seconds it travels. And our sun is 8.33 light minutes away, meaning it takes the light from the sun 8.33, that is 33 minutes to reach us. See, imagine how far away a light year must be. The most distant part of the universe that scientists have evidence of comes from light that has taken 14 billion years to reach us. See how much billions? 14 billions light rays away from there. Maybe many more universe farther away than that. See, here they have given all one light ray is how much, one light minute is how much, and the nearest star is Proxima Centauri, and it's is how much is the light year away from the Earth. All the things they have mentioned over here. As Carl Sagan said, somewhere something is incredible is waiting to be known. See what Carl Sagan said here. Somewhere something, somewhere and something is incredible thing is waiting to be known. And imagine what incredible being might live 14 billion light years away from us. See, they would live so far away that it would take 14 billion years for the light from their sun to reach the earth. See how much? 14 billion years for a light. From where? From their sun to earth, to reach at the earth. What might these beings look like? What abilities would they have? Are they intelligent? Do they have language? Do they have homes or shelters? What would they like and what would they need? Do they eat? Do they have emotions? See, all these things, these all questions to get started thinking about being what the lives 14 billions light years from Earth. See, it is all about that. See, when we think of in this, it is said when we think when we think about a being living in 14 billion light years away from here us, we must have such a body as has no effect of heat at all. And any metallic body will get melted in the terrible heat of the sun and other stars which are as hotter than sun. See, they look like aliens which have shapes like human beings but not having very identical faces like human beings. So they must be speaking unintelligent language, but their action and gesture, the communication can be carried out. See, they might be more advanced in the science and technology than the beings on the earth. See, they would have ability to read human mind, and see, we can think also they would also have the ability to access those spheres where man hardly declared to reach. See, all these other questions to get started in our mind, thinking about of being what the lives 14 years light rays from earth. See, they must also be intelligent enough what to explore the possibility of human life on the other planet. See, many unfamiliar facts of the universe and so on. And they must not be having homes or a house or human being, but must be having a huge shelter equipped with advanced technology. And they must not be feeling tired as we do, but they must be needing recreation. And see, most of the time change of the work would be their recreation also, and they would like to watch recreational movies or video clips. They would be listening song. They would need different sets of dresses to put different occasion. They must be working on batteries so they would hardly need water or vegetation. They must be having electromagnetic physics instead of biochemic ones. See, therefore, these would be the hardly any chance for emotions. See, all these were the things that we this all we think we start thinking about of being that leaves 14 billion light years from Earth. And see, they use with all these questions to get started thinking about all these things. And see, I hope you understood this about the light rays, light year, and light minutes. And light is how much fastest thing that we know, and how much it travels in a per seconds. Thank you for listening.